Welcome to the Guam EDI virtual website series. In today's topic, we will provide basic information on the Individualized Education Program, also known as an IEP. What is an IEP? An IEP is a written legal document laying out the special education instruction program, supports, and services needed for your child to progress and thrive in the school setting. The program is designed to meet the unique and individual needs of your child. The IEP, the written plan that spells out the specific types of help your child will get, are covered by Special Education Law or the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, also known as IDEA. Who needs an IEP? A child having difficulty learning and functioning at school and is identified as a special needs student requires an IEP. Children struggling in school may qualify for support services, allowing them to be taught in a special way for reasons such as hearing impairment, learning disabilities, autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD, emotional disorders, cognitive challenges, visual impairment, speech or language impairment, developmental delay, or physical disabilities. Who develops the IEP? The IEP is developed by a team that includes critical school staff such as a counselor, teacher, special education teacher, school administrator, psychologist, audiologist, along with you and your child. The team will review your child's assessment information and design an educational program to address his or her needs based on the identified disability. The IEP team must hold an IEP within 30 calendar days after it is established through a full evaluation that your child has one of the disabilities listed in the IDEA and needs special education and related services. The IEP should be reviewed annually to update the goals and ensure the services continue to meet your child's needs. IEPs can be changed at any time on an as-needed basis. If you think your child needs more, fewer, or different services, you can request a meeting with the team to discuss your concerns. What you should know about the IEP. The IEP is used in special education for children ages 3 to 21 years of age. Another thing you should know is the IEP includes information about your child's current levels of educational performance and participation in developmentally appropriate activities. The IEP also includes information about your family's concerns for enhancing your child's education. The IEP team, including the parents or guardians and related service providers who work with the child, determines the goals. The IEP includes measurable annual goals, academic and functionally, designed to allow the child to participate in and make progress in the general curriculum, specify how progress will be measured and how often, and explain how progress will be reported to the family. The IEP describes the services provided in the least restrictive environments and an explanation of the extent, if any, that your child will not participate with typically developing children. The IEP includes the special education, related services, supplemental aids and services, modifications, and supports to be provided to help your child make progress and participate in developmentally appropriate activities. The IEP team members include you, the parent or parents of the child, the regular education teacher, a special education teacher, a representative of the school district who can commit resources, a person who can interpret results of the evaluations, and others who have knowledge or special expertise about your child.
To get special education services, a student needs an IEP. IEPs are legal documents that spell out the individualized instruction, services, and supports a child will get at school. They're like a blueprint for how the school will help the student make progress and meet educational goals. IEPs are covered by the Federal Special Education Law, IDEA. The law is very specific about how the plans should be written and what they need to include. For instance, every IEP must include annual goals for a student to work towards, based on specific needs, and it has to include a plan for measuring a student's progress and reporting it to parents or guardians. One of the most important parts of an IEP is called the present levels of academic performance. This section describes in detail a child's abilities and weaknesses. It also explains how individual challenges impact a student's ability to keep up with grade level instruction. The whole point of special education is to help students with disabilities learn the same content students without disabilities are learning. IEPs are designed to meet each student's needs. For example, a student with dyslexia might get multisensory reading instruction twice a week to improve decoding skills. A student with dyspraxia might receive occupational therapy. To get an IEP, a student has to be evaluated for special education and found to be eligible. Next, the IEP team meets to create the plan. The team includes the child's general education teacher, a special education teacher, a school psychologist or someone else who can interpret the results, and someone from the district that can authorize the services in the IEP. It also includes the child's parents. Parents don't always realize it, but they play a very important role in the IEP process. In addition to giving input on the program, they can help monitor it to make sure their child is getting the services listed in the IEP and making progress toward the goals. The best IEP goals are SMART goals. That means they're specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, and time-bound. Goals need to name precise skills and targets and be ambitious but realistic. Students are reevaluated every 3 years to see if their needs have changed and if their IEP needs to change too. By the time they reach 16, their IEP must include a transition plan that will help them prepare for life after high school. It's so important for parents to be involved in the entire IEP process. They can work together with the school to develop a strong special education program, and they can advocate every step of the way to make sure their child is getting the best possible help and support.
Other things to take into consideration about the IEP: parents or legal guardians have a right to choose where their children will attend school, such as a public, charter, private, religious, or to be homeschooled. Be aware that children with disabilities whose parents decided to send them to private schools do not have the same rights as children with disabilities enrolled in public schools. Also, children placed by public agencies in private schools when the public school cannot provide free appropriate education do not have the same rights as children with disabilities placed in private schools by their parents. You also need to be aware of the two significant differences parents or legal guardians, teachers, school staff, private school representatives, and your child need to know about placement in a private school. One is that children with disabilities placed in a private school by their parents or legal guardians may not get the same services they would receive in a public school. And the second is, not all children placed in a private school will get services. Up next is an explanation of the IEP from a parent.
An IEP stands for Individualized Education Program. You'll hear people talk about IEP in different ways. There's IEP teams, there's IEP meetings, and the IEP stands for that plan itself. It puts into place what's called specialized instruction, which can be help in the general education classroom. It can be small group instruction. It can be one-to-one instruction. It can even be outside the classroom to help your child get the skills he needs to be able to work in the general education classroom. But sometimes it can be as simple as something called accommodations, and those accommodations are simple changes to the way things are being taught in the environment to help your child get there better. So for example, a child who needs glasses, a child who needs eyeglasses needs those eyeglasses to see better. A child who needs accommodations might just need a change in the where he's sitting, or he may need a change in the way the information's presented. For example, he may not do well with verbal directions, but if the teacher provides them in written form, it may be more helpful to him. There are also related services that can be put into place, things like occupational therapy, physical therapy, counseling services. Those are all related services that help your child meet the goals that are put into place by his specialized instruction. The IEP plan has goals, it has services, it talks about your child's strengths and his needs, and it has what's called a present level of performance, and the present level of performance talks about how your child's doing now. And all the other pieces fit together with how your child's doing now. The goals talk about how we're going to put those services into place to make sure that your child is moving forward, to make sure he's getting the same free, appropriate public education as other children his age. If you have an IEP, the federal law is very clear about who needs to be on that team. The parents are a very important part of the team. You have as much expertise about your child as you can bring to the table, and that's specified that you're part of that team. A general education teacher, an administrator, so the principal of the school or the special education director, a special education teacher, and anyone else who might be part of your child's team, a school psychologist, an occupational therapist, or a physical therapist, are all supposed to be part of this team by law.
Key takeaways. IEP stands for Individualized Education Program. An IEP involves specialized instruction, which can take place inside or outside the classroom. IEPs can also include related services, such as occupational therapy or counseling.
Guam EDI values your input. Remember to return to the Guam EDI website and click the link below today's IEP video presentation to provide your feedback on today's topic. For more information about newborn hearing screening, contact Guam EDI at 735-2466 or visit our website at www.guamedi.org. Thank you for joining us.